Damn it, what is it called? Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. Maybe it was this pen. All right, there we go. We good? We live? Perfect. All right, so what's up, guys? This is gonna be a nice, quick live. Mother, what's up, bro? So the reason why you guys see it, I'm going over the debt ceiling, why it's important, and its impact on the market. So it's gonna be a quick live because Sade has a live at 7. So as soon as y'all done with this, definitely make sure y'all jump over to that one. But besides that, yeah, I see a lot of people were talking about the debt ceiling is not going to be of importance, is not going to impact the markets, and I just don't understand why they were saying that. Like, it is definitely going to impact the markets. That's the reason why we have a huge increase in the price of the markets today. Nasdaq was up 1%, S&P is up, Dow was up, pretty much across the board, everything is up. Now, I'm also going to explain why the debt ceiling is important, and then again, I'm going to break down why it's important for the markets and the impact for it. So, for starters, the debt ceiling. Now, pretty much the reason why it's been delayed from a political point of view, it's been delayed mainly because of no side wants to come to an agreement and say, you know what, I'm going to negotiate, but I'm going to get less what I want, you're going to get more what you want, and so forth. They're not going to do that, right? What they want to do is pretty much like just win the whole argument, right? Nobody wants to negotiate that way. But besides that, though, the reason why it took so long, because what they want to do, right, from a political point of view, why would I give in right now? Because if I give in right now, both from Kevin McCarthy as well as Biden, because if Biden gives in so quickly, it's not going to look good. We have a lot more time left until we have our actual limit, right? Not limit, but our actual deadline. So the deadline was supposed to be June 1st. Obviously, we got an agreement yesterday, and then the markets reacted today. So it happened after hours. Now, the reason why it took so long, again, from a political point of view, if I was to agree with this statement, let's say I don't want to go outside, I'm having a debate, the debate for me to sign a bill, this is kind of a bad example, for me to go outside, right? And I don't want to go outside. So let's say the deadline for me to sign this bill is the end of the month. Right now, it's June 1st. If I sign it right now, people on my side are going to be like, why did you sign it so quickly if we have so much time to negotiate till you get things that we actually want? So that's the reason why it took long. And then also from a political point of view, they can easily say, like, if things don't go good, they can easily say, even the side that I was for it, or I was against the debt ceiling being raised or being paused and so forth. So at the end of the day, it's just politics as usual, right? So politics is always going to be the main factor when it comes to how things are going to be ran. Now, I actually want to break down what happened with the debt ceiling, what the agreement was. So, and then again, as I said, I'm going to do an impact on trading. So for starters, we have 314 to 117 passed in the House. So if you guys don't know, quick social studies lesson. So you have the House of Representatives, you have the Senate, and then you also have the don't worry. You have the House of Representatives, you have the Senate, and then you also have the White House, right? So that is our branches of the government. And then we also have the laws as well, but judges, Supreme Court, and everything. But anywho, so as I was saying, so it was 314 to 17 passed in the House. Republicans in the House, they voted 149 yes to 71 no. And they have Democrats who voted in the House 165 yes to 46 no. So pretty much the House of Representatives, they didn't want to accept this, mainly because, as I just said, they want their own cake, right? So nobody wants to have their cake and eat it too. But that's really what everybody wants to have their cake and eat it too, but nobody wants to give in to have that. So pretty much you have one side of the Republicans, they're looking for cutbacks, right? And I'm not saying I'm a Republican, I'm not saying I'm a Democrat, but at the end of the day, if the issue that America has when it comes to the debt ceiling is spending money, then we have to reduce that spending. So it's very idiotic for us to not want to reduce that, because if you don't reduce it and you're spending more money, because at the end of the day, like America, they make this money through taxation, right? So if this is numbers that are not just, this is not actually accurate, but let's say the numbers are, we make $8 billion a year in taxation, right? But we're spending $16 billion, right? At the end of the day, if you're spending more than you have coming in, you're going to go broke, right? That's the reason why we're at a $32 trillion bill that we have, our overhead, not overhead, but that's our bill. Like, that's our debt. Our debt is 32 trillion, and it's going to keep going up. So the Republicans, they came out and said, listen, like, we will pass this. However, we need a reduction of spending, because that's it. At the end of the day, in order for you to get out of the financial hole that you're in, you have to reduce spending. You have to find a way to make more money. That's also the reason why taxes going up. That's low key though. They're not trying to tell you that, but that helps out when it comes to paying down the debt ceiling. But anyway, as I was saying, so what happened right now is we have 2-year spending cap, and it won't impact the actual election. So the reason why that's so important, when election time comes, a main thing that a lot of both Democrat and Republicans like to use is spending, right? They talk about the debt ceiling. So now if we have a cap for 2 years, that means that for the next 2 years, including this upcoming election that we're going to have, that's not going to be a factor. So if that's not a factor, that's going to make it easier for either side to have some winning points when it boils down to it. We also have a freeze next year, and then we have a 1% hike the year after that. Again, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why are we freezing? We don't need to be freezing. We need to be cutting back, right? Because if you kick the can down the road over and over and over and over, at some point, there's not going to be no more road for you to kick the can down. So that's what's going on now. We're just kicking the problem down. And that's another reason why, because Congress is like, I'll let my grandkids deal with that. I'll let my grandkids deal with that. I don't have to deal with that right now. And that's exactly what's going on. And even from a political point, or from from the president all the way down. Like, this started really went heavy around like Clinton. When Clinton was in, he spent a shitload of money. Bush topped what Clinton spent. Obama topped what Bush spent. Trump topped what Obama spent. And now Biden topped what Trump spent. So I also find it funny because people be like, well, it's Trump's fault. It's like, at the end of the day, it's every president's fault. Like, they just continuously do the same thing over and over when it comes to spending money. Like, they don't reduce anything. They actually spend more. So, but another thing too, it's like, this world is really ran on debt, especially America as well. Like, we run on debt. Like, that's how our economy process and get things done. So it's just very funny that people are upset that we continuously doing things that we normally do. But at the end of the day, it is going to be a huge impact. I'm going to do a separate live on how it's going to impact BRICS and everything, because a lot of people also think that we're going to lose a reserve currency like today or tomorrow. It's like, that ain't happening. That's definitely not happening. America should get funding from KB. Definitely should. But that's funny. But yeah, so as I was saying, like, it ain't happening. Like, we're definitely not losing reserve currency next year. I don't think so. One main reason why I don't think so is, for starters, people, y'all don't know what y'all talking about, because it doesn't happen that way. It's not as if like China, Russia, all them team up, and then next day we just lose the reserve. That's not how it works. Like, you got to remember, like, around like 60% of the rest of the world, they use our currency. And then next is, I believe, the euro. And I think the euro is around like 17 or 18%. I think it's right under 20%. So you got 60% of the world uses the dollar. And then number 2 is the euro, which is about like 20%. So the gap alone shows that it's not going to happen overnight. And then secondly, we got the strongest military on earth. And that is, like, think about that though. Like, y'all trying to take my dollar off. All right, y'all can do that, but we got to get it on. Nobody wants to get it on with America. That's why everybody's teaming up. So it's like, y'all can try all y'all want, but it's not happening overnight. It's going to definitely happen though. I think it's going to happen legit. It's going to definitely happen, but I just don't see it happening as fast as social media make it seem as if it's going to happen. Because again, most people, they don't know what they're talking about. They just see something on social media and they just think that it's true and they just go along with it and they just spread lies. But anyway, let me get back to the debt ceiling and what's actually in it. So we also have Medicare and Social Security that won't get touched. So that's also a huge thing as well, because when it comes to spending and you have Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, all of that with the healthcare as well. Well, not the healthcare, but like Medicaid and Medicare. So that right there is a huge spending bill for America. So again, like, if that's not getting touched and we're actually we're going for a 2-year spending cap, it's like it doesn't matter, right? So again, like, that's not getting touched. Now, this is a big issue. We also have the IRS. They received $80 billion of funding from the Inflation Reduction Act, and they're going to give back $10 billion of that, maybe less, but that's also in the bill. So they got they got $80 billion from the Inflation Reduction Act, and I'm using quotations purposely. I'll explain that in a second. And that now they're going to give back $10 billion. Maybe it may be less than that, but that's the max that they're going to be giving back. And I'm saying that because, when it comes to America, any type of act that we pass or bill and it has the name in it, it does the complete opposite, right? Like we already know, even if the Patriot Act that was passed, that shit was the complete opposite of Patriot. Just made America big brother, and we definitely don't need that. Like I don't understand why a lot of people, you know what it is? Like this again political right now. People want socialism, but they don't really understand what comes with socialism. Like you don't want that. It's not gonna work in America. But you 1000% don't want socialism, and y'all don't. Like y'all think y'all do. We have certain programs and stuff, but if y'all think about that, like the bigger the government becomes, the worse it is for Americans, and the more rules that we have to abide by. So why would you want to have that? It doesn't make any sense. It's just very idiotic. But again, we do live in a world people don't know what they're talking about, and I see the lives going down because people in their feelings. But it is what it is. I don't give a damn what y'all think about that. I'm just giving y'all the truth. So another thing added to that as well. So we have food stamp limits for able-bodied adults without dependents. So they raise it to 54 age and younger. Before it was 49 and younger. So that right there is actually more beneficial. There's also a cap on how many hours you are going to have to put into it. They're going to revise that to see what the hours are going to be. But again, I'm saying all that just to let you guys know what the actual breakdown of the debt ceiling is. Everything else is pretty much like words, not words and stuff, but it's not really that impactful for me to really discuss it and for you guys. So now back to the market. I'm gonna flip my screen over and show you guys exactly the importance of it. But for starters, when it comes to trading, right now, the market is not gonna just move up and down, right? We obviously know structure and everything, but at the end of the day, we have all these news events to let us know where the market is going, right? So, well, to get into the market. So you have fundamentals, which is like that's news, and you have technical analysis, which is reading the charts, looking at past price to have an idea what price can go towards in the future. So fundamentals, it lets you know when to get into the market. Technical analysis lets you know where the market is going. So remember, guys, like pretty much this past few weeks, the markets have been consolidating, right? So consolidation is like up and down, back and forth, no true movement. The reason why we have been doing that because the debt ceiling has been a huge thing. So for a lot of people to come out, I see a lot of traders, a lot of economists as well, to say that the debt ceiling wouldn't impact the markets. That just doesn't make any sense. Like every time I got some word about the debt ceiling is going to be pushed back, the market will react and drop to it. Or we'll get like something about like, we'll have the debt ceiling, we'll come up with an agreement, the market will react and go up. So again, if that's happening, right, if that's the news that's coming out that's helping the markets either go up or down and so forth, to say when that comes out and whether it ends good or bad is not going to impact it, it just wouldn't make any sense. So I'm going to flip my screen over and just give you guys a quick breakdown of the markets and what happened, right? So for starters, we know that this morning we got ADP came out, which is a private sector of jobs being created. We have unemployment claims came out as well today, and the market did react to it. However, once we got note that the debt ceiling was going to the Senate, and more likely the Senate is going to accept it and they're going to push it through, because again, it has to go through the House and it has to go through the Senate, and then we can actually go forth with Biden signing it. But yeah, as I said, so once we had an idea that was going to come through, the markets reacted to it. So even if I'm going to flip my screen, and I be like an old guy when I be doing stuff like this. All right, so look at the markets right now, guys. Here we go. Right, so at the end of the day, what the market did, we just came back down to a nice area of support. You guys see I have my support of 693. Literally, we came right to it. If I can just take it off and you guys can see it more clearly, right? What did we do? We retested this, which is 718, right to the spot of it. And then from there, market started shooting up. So that's another thing, guys. When it boils down to it, the market's always going to find an area to retrace to or react or come down here, right? It came back down, retraced it to this point right here. This is the candle that pushed price forward. We came back down, retested that, not showing a continuation. And then from there, the market just shot up. So again, like that is a technical point of view of it. The fundamentals was the fact that we have the debt ceiling. The bill was passed. The Senate is more likely going to push it forward. So again, I just wanted to quickly come out and say that to you guys, because the debt ceiling 100% will impact the markets, and it has impacted the markets. We obviously, we had a rise today. But another thing as well, so more likely we won't be hearing about the debt ceiling for another 2 years, mainly because it's going to go through the Senate. They're going to push it through. They're not going to revise it. So with that being said, guys, and then also, let me just not even talk about fundamentally. Let me actually talking about from an economic point of view, as well as like, for rates and everything. So we're going to have an increase of spending. As I told you guys, like America runs on debt. That's just the reality. Like the world runs on debt. Well, not the world, but more likely America. Outside the world, they deal with credit differently, right? But America runs on debt. So what you have to do, right? You just have to monitor your debt and just use your debt correctly. So there's two things you could have with that, right? You can have bad debt, you can have good debt. So in reality, it's still both debt because, people like to say, like it's either bad or good, but it's just all one debt. But the way you utilize it can be good or bad, right? So utilizing good debt is using other people's money, right? So a lot of people, they go into more credit card debt mainly because they want to do for leisure things. You have some people who go into credit card debt because they want to make investments. It's best to go the investment route, and then we use that ROI, which is the return on investment you get from that investment. You use that to pay off the loan, and then you just use the residuals that you get from that, or even just the extra money to go and spend the things that you wanted, right? So an example is, quick lesson as well. So an example is, let's say if you have a credit limit of $1,000, right, and you spend $500 on the house. Let's say that house $500, right? You rent the house out for $1,000 a month, right? So you take that money, $1,000, you pay off the loan, right? So in 10 months, the loan is paid off, right? You have zero debt from that, and now you have a residual money coming in. So now you take that extra money coming in, and then you go buy your liabilities. You go travel, you go buy clothes and all this stuff as well. That's what the rich do, and that's what you want to do as well. However, when it comes to America, America doesn't do that. America just, again, like we make our money through taxation. So us making our money through taxation, what we do is, again, like an example, we make $1 billion a year on taxation. That's not the exact number. We are spending more than 2 times that. If you are spending more than you have coming in, eventually it's going to catch up to you and you're going to go broke. And that's what America is right now. So I don't think that this was the best decision when it comes to freezing the debt ceiling as well as like suspending it, pretty much or pausing it. Like that's not how you get out of your situation, right? Like you get out of your situation by increasing your overhead, and then you also get out of your situation by lowering your overhead. Not increasing your overhead, I'm sorry. Increasing your income and lowering your overhead. So think about that. Like if your overhead is let's say your bills and expenses is $1,000 per month, right? And you make $2,000 per month, right? So you're above water $1,000. Now let's say your overhead goes up to $2,000 and your income is still $2,000. You don't have anything coming in. Now let's say your overhead goes up to $2,500 and your income is still $2,000. Like eventually you're going to be underwater, and that's the reason why we currently we're in $1 trillion worth of credit card debt. The numbers came out yesterday that consumer debt, not yesterday, I'm sorry, 2 days ago, that consumer reached $1 trillion. But again, that's just an example, guys. So like, I just want to, again, I see the time. I got to get over before Sade jumps on. But remember, as soon as you jump off this, 7 o'clock, jump on Sade's live. She's dropping so many gems. I can't even share it with you guys. I don't want to tell it. Y'all got to just go watch it. But let me just wrap this up real quick. Yeah, so again, the debt ceiling impacts the market, guys. I don't know why y'all saying it does not, but it definitely does. So it's like, again, news dictates when you want to get into the market. Technical analysis shows you where the market is going. So you just have to be mindful of these things when it comes out. You don't want to ignore these things. Be mindful when it comes out. Look for technical analysis. That'll let you know an idea of when to get into the market and when to, not when to get in, but where the market is headed. And then from there, you have an idea of where the market is going to go. You can be wrong, right? No trade is 100% accurate. So that's why it's based on probability. You got to manage your risk, right? You don't want to risk $100 to make $100. That doesn't make any sense, right? You want to be mindful of that. But let me wrap this up real quick. So you guys have any more questions you want me to do breakdowns, or you like breakdowns like this, you can join my Discord. The link in the description below, TPS Discord. We do this every single day. Show you guys literally we do live trades, show you guys breakdowns, trade signals, call outs, and so forth. So again, you guys can click in my bio to do that. And yeah, just want to share this with y'all. The debt ceiling is very important. It's very impactful to the markets. But again, after more likely this week and next week, and when it really goes through, we won't hear about this again for another more likely 2 years. But all right, guys, appreciate you guys joining in, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.